This is a Sexpot comedy production.
Let's bring our wrestlers in. Please welcome to the stage Richard Nixon, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, John F. Kennedy. Come on, guys. Get in here, everybody. John F. Kennedy's here. George W. Bush, Barack Obama. Let's keep the applause going. Teddy Roosevelt.
Safari Man.
Safari. We also got Franklin Delano Roosevelt, everybody, making his way in. Nice. Trying to make his way in. Give it up for Bill Clinton, everybody. Abraham Lincoln's on the list. He's not here yet. And here we go.
Give it up for FDR.
FDR, he's trying his best, man. He's weak from fucking all his cousins.
There's no ramp here.
Now FDR doesn't know where to go. We did not plan ahead for this. Pie Sure, you might want to move, girl. Yep.
How to reverse.
Hey, Barack Obama's here, everybody. Yeah, we got a seat for you right up here, Barack. Hell yeah. All right, guys. Hey, two things happen when you get sworn into the President of the United States. One, they tell you the nation's secrets. And two, they show you that John F. Kennedy's cum stain underneath the desk.
A lot of people think George W. Bush ran us into the ground. That's not true. He flew us. You knew it was coming.
Yeah.
You knew it was coming.
FDR is here, everybody. Or as Japanese people call him, world's worst camp counselor.
George W. Bush once waved at Stevie Wonder, and that rude motherfucker didn't even wave back.
Speak softly and carry a big stick was Teddy Roosevelt's slogan for his foreign policy and his impotence.
Hey, JFK, if you need to know where the restroom is, it's back and to the left.
The only thing bigger than JFK's dick is Abraham Lincoln's coffin.
Sorry, Abraham Lincoln. Wesley Snipes is my favorite vampire hunter. God damn it.
JFK is like drugs. It was in Marilyn Monroe more than twice. I fucked that up. I was drunk. I'm sorry. Mulligan, next joke.
Richard Nixon is the only president resigned from office at the moment.
George Washington's here, guys. George Washington. George Washington has fake teeth. He has more wood in his mouth than Monica Lewinsky did in the Oval Office.
Yeah, I don't have it.
All right, petered off. Okay. We'll have one more joke, and then we'll get your first wrestler up here. The real reason that George W. Bush invaded Iraq was he was trying to find Waldo. All right, you guys ready to start the nerves?
Wow.
Great start, guys. Great start. All right. Your first wrestler coming to stage was also the first piece of shit in the White House. Give it up for George Washington, everybody.
Hi. Thank you. I'm George Washington. I know there's no recordings of my voice, but this is what I sounded like. I didn't know if you guys know. It was very popular at the time. Thank you. You guys, Thomas Jefferson is here. Woo! People liked him. He made the Louisiana Purchase, which is why Denver is part of the United States today. Also, why 11 of the red states that voted for Trump. So thanks so much, Tommy. Tommy, right? Okay, yeah. Thomas Jefferson had slaves, which makes him as big a hypocrite as every other president ever. You guys, we're all terrible. Thomas Jefferson's children are as illegitimate as Trump's presidency. I'm almost done with Trump stuff, I promise. Thank you again. President Lincoln is here. He's not in the room right now. He made some real weak kids, huh? You know? He had a son who died of heart failure at 18. Those are bad genes. Lincoln was a great president. He had some commitment issues. He didn't want to marry his first wife, but he wrote her a letter and was like, I want to do it, but like if you don't want to do it, then you can say so. And she didn't want to do it, obviously. He also, this is just some history, you guys. On his way to marry his second wife, Mary Todd, you know her, someone was like, where are you going? And he was like, to hell. Fuck that guy. Okay, President Clinton is here. President Clinton. He fucked a 22-year-old in the Oval Office. He didn't fuck her. You guys, President Clinton only came once when he was with Monica Lewinsky. He is a tricky little guy. That blue dress never got washed. Okay, FDR is here, you guys. People love FDR. His wife called sex with him an ordeal to be endured. That's not a roast joke. That's a fact. That's what she said. People think she's a lesbian. I think he just never fucked her right, you know? His dick game's off point. Thank you. This is how I talked in my day also. Speaking of, JFK is here, John F. Kennedy, Jackie boy. He was like super sick and on all kinds of meds, but he still managed to fuck hotties on the reg, you know? Maybe he needs to give FDR a few lessons. I don't know. Teddy Roosevelt is here. Teddy Roosevelt used to like make his staff like tie up animals for him to kill. So basically he's like the Jimmy John of his time. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? I don't know. George W. Bush is here. You guys remember him? You guys were really lucky. For the roast, I managed to get George W. Bush's biggest nemesis in the time of his presidency here with us tonight. Uh-oh, you guys! You guys, I forgot I had pictures. This is going great. This is going so great. Do you guys know that George W. Bush choked on a pretzel and fainted? And when he was asked about it, he said, my mom always told me you should chew before you swallow. Like, that's a thing he had to remember, or like, he wouldn't do it. That's his face after he did it. He fucked up his face and had to like go on TV, which is hilarious. Oh, I don't even need these anymore. This is a roast of the presidents, and I've been trying to keep up with it since I've been dead, but I am like a little unclear as to what this guy's doing. This is American president. You guys like, I'm not sure. This American president. Thomas Jefferson, is he with you? Is he one of yours? I'm not sure. I don't, is that your son? I don't know. Okay. That'll do it for me. Thanks so much.
Give it up for George Washington, everybody. Coming out swinging. Oh boy. All right, your next roaster coming to stage has hit on Michelle Obama more than George W. Bush. Give it up for Thomas Jefferson, everybody.
Hello. Thomas Jefferson is dead. But I was Thomas Jefferson in a past life. My name is going to get me killed. Oh my God. My name is Malata Lovechild. And I am going to channel my past self in order to continue this roast. Holy shit! All right. I'm here. This is good. All right. There's a lot of weirdly dressed people in this room. You know what? I'll just move along. George Washington, he was just on stage. First president, of course. I just thought he was kind of a fop. Dresses a little bit like a gay Boy Scout trying to get his pirate badge. You say you were a strong leader. I could have written something after that, but time catches up with you when you've been dead. George Washington had false teeth because he enjoyed a mouthful of wood. which isn't as funny the second time around. But I'm gonna bet I'm not the only one who made that connection. George Washington's face is on the $1 bill, which means that his face has been in more sweaty crotches than JFK. Yes. He was sort of like a friend to me, not as much. I don't know, I just didn't like being third. I don't know what that means about me. Abe Lincoln is not here, which is great because I have very little to say about him. He dressed like a failed magician. He was also an Aquarius. Makes him a strong leader. You know what? I think that the reason we have all those monuments of Abraham Lincoln is because he was probably always stoned. Oh, this is gonna be rough. I mean, me too. I called it rope back then. I like to tie things up for many reasons. FDR is here. He wears a blanket over his legs so people think they're asleep. You met your cousin wife possibly at a family reunion. I saw you were homeschooled, and you really peaked in homeschool, finding a wife, and I don't know. I don't really know what you were doing. I really like the cookies, the Delinos that you've made. They are my favorites. Wow, Teddy Roosevelt, you look like the SpongeBob version of Teddy Roosevelt to me. It's very hard to look at you with a straight face. You're sort of like an Art of Manliness cartoon. I feel like your platform was mostly about beard oil. JFK, the Kurt Cobain of presidents. Also almost died of disease and infection before getting shot, so more of the final destination of presidents. I also just wrote a bunch of facts if anyone wants this to be more educational. Nixon's here. I'm glad. I think we'd have a lot to talk about. Mostly because you look like you're one sneeze away from a racial slur at all times. Nixon was a Quaker, which means that oatmeal got his tricky dick hard. So, little known fact about Richard Nixon, he ran a failed frozen orange juice business for 18 months because unlike FDR, he did not know how to concentrate. I don't feel good about this, guys. Clinton, also here, Bill Clinton. Seems like he became president on a dare. Seems like most of Bill Clinton's decisions were on a dare, including marrying the White Witch of Narnia. Clinton smoked but did not inhale. Miss Lewinsky choked but did not give tail. She kept it for Jesus. Bottom. Very pure. George W. Bush is here. He was, we give him a lot of shit, but for a president who signed his name with crayons for most of his life, he did okay. And he was a cheerleader in high school, which makes sense given that his greatest ability was probably just smiling and clapping. Just, yay! They did it. Obama, you're... I think this is just the reason why we shouldn't have let women vote, because they'd pick the one with the bigger dicks. Obama grew up in Indonesia, which means he had a pet ape as a child, which is sort of like giving a basset hound a pet basset hound. Oh my God, I was such a racist! I have to donate so much to Greenpeace to feel less impure now. Thank you so much, guys.
Well, that happened. Good over Thomas Jefferson, everybody. Your next roaster is on the penny, which is ironic because I would consider his head bad luck. Give it up for Abraham Lincoln.
Cheers, eh? I know a lot of you were thinking that old Honest Abe was going to come up here, but he's inside of a statue in Washington right now. I'm actually Trevor Cory Parker Lincoln. According to a U23, U32, whatever it is, gene test, I am the last living relative of Honest Abe. I'm from Nova Scotia. And that is all true, and of course, not a person trying to use character to dodge costuming. I don't have a lot of public speaking experience, but according to the Canadian Board of Ethics, formerly the Royal Canadian Mounted Police Division of Horse Cuddling, I'm responsible for representing my relatives in a public forum. So, here we are. Oh boy. You know, I thought this would be easier. The boys down at the cannery are always telling me that I've got a lot of clever rejoinders. You know, like sometimes, like I'll look in a mirror and I'll say, can't have humor without you, and also another you. So my evidently great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, apparently he used to always say, 407 minutes ago, we should have left this awful play. And then get shot in the back of the head by an actor. I mean, he only actually said it once, but it really set a tone. Kind of like how Thomas Jefferson raped that slave girl, only without the word once. Look, we burned down the White House for it. George Washington, first president, if you've never seen a history book. I know your schools are not as well funded as ours. Famously exposed to the inability to fib, without any evidence, having chopped down a tree. First president of fake news, you're welcome. Way to found a country. I should say country. As a Nova Scotian, my accent may go in out. Some of you I had to look up on the Google. Franklin D. Roosevelt. Way to commit to polio. Anything not to fuck Eleanor, right? A lot of people don't know that his most famous legislation was actually a declarative statement while Eleanor was being lowered down on him like a horse to Catherine the Great. And an against his will tumescent Franklin Roosevelt yelled, "New Deal!" Which I suppose brings us to John F. Kennedy, a willfully tumescent president.
That means boner.
By law, I'm supposed to tell you thank you. First of all, JFK, sorry for the headwind. I'm predisposed to receiving them myself. You guys don't realize how close Nova Scotia is to Scotland. I actually did some research on you. I found out some misfit wrote a song about you. I'm going to read some of this. 5:25, August 5th, 1962. Found her lying on her chest, her face all turning blue. You think it was an overdose, but could it have been the pact? Could it have been the Kennedys? That's you. Was it LAPD? Then there's some words that I shouldn't say on a stage. And it all comes down to make it seem as suicide, make it seem as suicide, make it seem as suicide, make it seem as suicide. Apparently you're not familiar with the Misfits, and that's fine. Because this brings us, with Make It Seem as Suicide, to Bill Clinton, who did that to Vince Foster. I heard that, in my research, I looked that up on, is it Breitbart? Is it? It's hard to read my own handwriting right now because at the time I was crying thorny rage tears, having tried to get through that website. Barack Obama, you're okay. Lincoln out.
Give it up for Abraham Lincoln's family member, everybody. Bring out the man. All right, we're going to keep on moving. Your next roaster coming to stage. He gives the sweatiest mustache rides out there. Give it up for Teddy Roosevelt, everybody.
Yes! I am here, Denver. My name is Colonel President Theodore Roosevelt, and I'm very happy to be back from safari. I killed one elephant, of which I have photographic evidence. I also killed 2 lions, a cheetah, and 4 locals. The Roosevelts are a proud American family. We've been here for hundreds of years. Thank you, son. And I'm the...
We're cousins.
No, son in a regular way. You know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm the toughest and proudest Roosevelt who's ever lived. Except for maybe Eleanor. I never could beat that bull dyke in an arm wrestling match at the family reunions. It was like going to fisticuffs with a hippopotamus. And I'm not upset that she kept it in the family, you know, just that she married someone who's so spineless. Franklin, you were one of the most richest and most powerful men in American history. Should have tried to make a new deal for some new legs. Barack Obama is here. Barack Obama. Fine, strapping gentleman. You may not know this, but Obama and Washington actually go way back. In his college days, Obama used to roll up little portraits of Washington and use them to snort cocaine. Those $1 bills were some change you could believe in. And he said in his book, The Audacity of Hope, that he, quote, did a little coke. Barack. No one who says they, quote, did a little coke only ever, quote, did a little coke. Fake news. George W. Bush is here. From another one of the great American families. 2 presidents to your family name. That's a thing. Our families would be in a deadlock, but of course, Jeb exists. Eleanor has a bigger dick than Jeb Bush. Fucked up. Please clap. Oh, John Fitzgerald Kennedy is here. That Mick bastard got us into all kinds of shenanigans, didn't he? He got us into Vietnam. He got his stubby Irish cock into Marilyn Monroe. And then he got assassinated. The Kennedys will never be the Roosevelts. They're too fragile. The Kennedys get murdered so frequently that there's a band called the Dead Kennedys. There's a lot of you. It's shameful. Speaking of murder, Richard Nixon is on the dais. Nixon caused more deaths in Southeast Asia than an iPhone factory. And for what? At least the iPhone gives you something to do while you're ignoring all the homeless vets with PTSD. Thank you. Abraham Lincoln was here, or some fucking guy related to him. Abraham Lincoln, preserver of the Union, champion of slaves, American giant. His head was so big we didn't even have to scale it up to fit on Mount Rushmore. When he died, his death made racists happier than a 10-hour marathon of cops. His death made racists happier than finding a white hood that fits just right. His death made racists happier than the prison industrial complex. Let's be honest. And speaking of racists, Thomas Jefferson is here. Getting it all night, partner, I'm sorry. As well, many of you may know, Thomas Jefferson was quite the ladies' man. He used to bring them all back for some Netflix in Monticello. And I'm Teddy Roosevelt! Thank you very much!
Give it up for Ted 3. All right, what's the new deal with your net? All right. Give it up for FDR, everybody. I hate myself. FDR, let him roll over.
Takes me a moment. Keep it going for Lee Harvey Oswald, everybody. Lee Harvey Oswald. Keep it going. My cousin, Theodore, keep it going for him. That's Sagamore Hill Ruffian. That's where he lived. I think you can all agree this has been the best White House roast since the War of 1812. Oh. George Washington is here, first president, put down the Whiskey Rebellion, thereby becoming history's first narc. No, don't be too hard on slave owner George Washington. Doesn't have a racist bone in his body because they're all buried behind the plantation. Speaking of slave owners we nonetheless admire, give it up for Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson, everybody. Thomas Jefferson fucked slaves harder than the Dred Scott decision. like he wrote in the Declaration of White Independence, why buy the cow when you can fuck the slave for free? We've got some great presidential scoundrels here. Great scoundrels. Oh, horny old Jack over there. Slick Bill Clinton. The only thing we have to fear is syphilis. Syphilis. FDR fucks, by the way. FDR, he dangles it in there. He dangles it in there. How, you may ask? What, I have two burly Secret Servicemen hurl my dangling body on top of miserable Eleanor. That's how Junior was born. Strictly butt stuff with the mistresses. Ironic that Lincoln couldn't be here since he suspended writ of habeas corpus. Very highbrow joke. He is a dumb one. Perhaps you dullards will enjoy this more. Abraham Lincoln was a secret gay. He thought he was going to marry Todd Lincoln. He spent his life committing to the mistake. This evening's been crazier than marriage. Oh. Speaking of Theodore, for a so-called Rough Rider, TR didn't fuck much at all. In fact, the only Roosevelt who ate more pussy than I did is Eleanor. Oh, presidential scoundrel. Bill Clinton, everyone. Give it up for Bill Clinton. You, sir, are a disgrace to the proud tradition of presidential fuckboys. We've all cheated and got away with it thus far. For God's sake, aim your wad, man. I have polio and I've never soiled a woman's dress. Oh. Watch out for Kennedy, ladies, or he'll try to sneak his Cuban Missile into your Bay of Pigs. I just sound like a giddy Englishman now. Oh. By the way, presidents, if you want a set of a tape of your set, Nixon's been running tape all night long. Speaking of Nixon, he opened up relations with China because there are no Jews there. I admire President Obama, but I would have only had Eleanor meet with him in secret. Read up, I was a racial coward. George W. Bush, you're a disgrace to nepotism, sir. Oh, I think that's all I've got. You guys give it up for Lee Harvey Oswald. Give it up for Jack Ruby.
Oh shit, the microphone's caught up in FDR's polio chair. God damn it, FDR. Jesus Christ. Hey, one more time for FDR, everybody. It's nice to hear a president not say racist things for once tonight. This is great. All right, your next wrestler has to get out of here before the Viagra kicks in. Give it up for John F. Kennedy, everybody.
I don't know how to work mic stands. Good evening, my fellow Americans. I'm John F. Kennedy Jr. and psych. Just JFK. You may think I've been dead for 54 years, but I've been living in Australia. And while I was in when I was your president, and I I helped Americans get to the moon, and I led the civil rights movement. I cured polio. And I also had sex with Marilyn Monroe. A lot of presidents have done a lot of things. I diddled a lot of things. FDR, where the fuck are you? I'll come back to him. George Washington is here. Martha Washington used to say that George Washington's teeth were the hardest bones in his body. If he was as hard a general, I gotta take that one back. And if he was as soft a general as he was a lover, we'd still be a British colony. Abraham Lincoln, wherever you are, like your hat. And especially the bullet hole. Myself, JFK, and Abraham Lincoln, we have a lot in common. We were both assassinated on a Friday. And he was at Ford's Theater, I was in the back of a Ford, and we were both succeeded by Big Fat Johnsons. Your FDR had polio, which is God's way of punishing somebody who marries the second cousin. FDR, were you always into men? Or just Eleanor? Yeah, what an eyesore that human was. She had the teeth of a show pony and the face of a mule. They're gross. Frank will tell you that sex is better with your first cousin, better than a hand job from your second cousin. FDR was in office for 4 terms, which is 2 times as many terms as he has working extremities. Hey Frank, if you love your country so much, why don't you stand for the national anthem? What polio got your legs? He pulled America out of the Great Depression. Depression being his second least favorite disease. Abraham Lincoln, his wife had her own bout with the Great Depression. She buried 3 out of her 4 children. In fact, her personal dust bowl was when she was too sad and she couldn't water the White House lawn where their little bodies were buried. FDR, you put a lot of people in internment camps. What? You can't walk freely, so no one should be able to. FDR declared war on Japan after Pearl Harbor. What's with all these airplanes flying into American property, am I right? George Bush, you could have prevented 9/11, as you were the mastermind behind it. George Bush, you beat Al Gore in the 2000 election, thanks to hanging chads on Florida ballots. Similarly, hanging chads is what you call Iraqi veterans when they come home and commit suicide. It's in all the papers. Cigars, saxophones, and interns. 3 things that Bill Clinton likes to put in his mouth. During his presidency, Bill Clinton passed DOMA, the Defense of Marriage Act, which ensured that only one man and 1 woman could be legally married, plus 1 intern. Perfect. Bill Clinton, you have as much swagger as Barack Obama with twice the blackness. Barack Obama saved America from financial ruin, and they still called you a terrorist. And now they are the president of the United States. All that work Michelle Obama era did to get America healthy, and now we have a big orange Cheeto running the show. Can't believe you quit smoking, Barack. That was the coolest thing about you, era. Finally, my fellow Americans, I have one last thing to say. Remember, ask not what you can do for your comedians, and that's not how it goes. Ask not what your comedians can do for you, but what you can do for your comedians. Era, thank you very much.
Give it up for JFK!
This has been a Sexpot Comedy Joint, collaborative, community-driven comedy produced by Andy Jewett and Kayvon Kalatvari. Headquartered in Denver, Colorado, with technical support from Isaac Miller. Every day at sexpotcomedy.com or at a show near you. Until next time, be well, friends.